Good morning, everyone. It's Sal Straight Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream. Listen, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new light for Manchester United. And Manchester United are back to winning ways, guys, with a 5-2 victory over Leicester City. You know what? It's refreshing. It's refreshing to see us score so many goals. You know what I mean? I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to us scoring so many goals. You know, I don't know where it's come from. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what's going on? You know, 4-2 up at halftime. Can you even imagine it? Can you even imagine it? Man United 5, Leicester City 2, and we go on to face Tottenham Hotspur in the quarter-final of the League Cup, which is not the best draw for us, to be honest, but we do need to give Tottenham Hotspur a good hiding. We do need to give them a little bit of revenge, don't we? A little bit of revenge would be nice if we give Tottenham. They deserve that. They deserve the backhander, don't they? They do deserve the backhander. Big up, Sanjay. How you doing? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Rasta Stocks, how you doing, brother? It's looking good, bruv. In the real test, Sunday's real test, mate. It's looking like Ruud van Nistelrooy might take charge of that game. It looks like Ruud van Nistelrooy might be the guy to be taking charge of Sunday's game, depending what happens today, of course, and tomorrow. If Amarin comes in, obviously, we do have to pay the €4 million to get the coaching staff in, as well as Amarim, of course, guys, and that little bit of extra fee to waive the 30-day notice period, of course, guys. We've all worked in jobs where you have to give this little 30-day notice period. I'm sure that Sporting Lisbon will, you know what, we got a good relationship with Sporting Lisbon, so do you know what, I'm sure that it will, we'll sort that out. We'll iron out the little final details. But I hope you're doing well, guys. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new and smash a like on the video, my friends. Thank you so much. Pearl, how you doing, my friend? Good morning from Singapore. Good to see you, my friend. I got my special guest in the background. Very special guest. My brother. Absolutely. I've got him coming up very, very soon. So, you know, look out for that, guys. Do you know what? Leicester City 2, Manchester United 5. You know what? Not quite my 4-1 prediction, but you know what? Nearly. You know, I had a feeling we'll score some goals yesterday. And what I liked about the team yesterday is the how relaxed they look. You know, it's a bit like the shackles have been taken off, and Ruud van Nistelrooy just said, "Go out there and play, enjoy yourself." Even Bruno had a brilliant game, of course, guys. So you know what? Really chuffed with the result, guys. Absolutely chuffed. And we bring on Chelsea. That's what it's all about. Bringing on Chelsea, the big one on Sunday against Chelsea. We win that. You know what? I'm not going to speak too soon this time. But you know, I've had egg in my face too many times this season. Do you know what I mean? Big up, Brian. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Let me get my guest in the show, guys, if I may. You may have known him from United Realist TV, of course. You know what? What a banging channel. And don't forget to subscribe to that channel. Absolutely incredible channel. Doing great things for the community of Manchester United. Guys, big up, my friend, Mick Ruby. What's going on, bro?
Oh, good morning. I think I have something problem with my camera. I think. Am I freezing or am I lagging?
You're all in your beauty, my friend. You're all in your beauty. I can see
Early.
you.
All I can say is we're missing the fundamentals before under Ten Hag, but this is Ruud mental, what we saw yesterday. Ruud mental, back to basics. As what you mentioned, how do you feel to be a Man United fan waking up in the morning and thinking 5 goals bagged? You know, that was missing. You know, we finished our dinner. Ruud cooked up a 5-course meal and we ate the dessert pretty much. And what you said,
4-2 at half time. I wouldn't even guess,
4-2.
You know, I mean.
Seriously. And the thing is, Casemiro, the old prime Casemiro back from the Real Madrid was back. Bruno Fernandes, did you see his heat map? He was everywhere. The dots was fully booked on the left, on the right, on the top, in the middle, in the back. Guys, I don't know what happened, but the shackles were off. Clearly, I thought to myself after, like, you know, Ten Hag tried to get a tune out of this team, but I think he was too pragmatic and too disciplined. Like he told you, Sal, don't leave your cubicle. This is your space. Operate in this space. He pretty much told them afterwards, go out and express yourself, have fun. Now, we saw a creative Bruno. You know, when you release the shackles for Bruno, he creates the mess. The partnership of Ugarte and Casemiro, that might be the way going forward. My God, Ugarte was also the man of the match performance. Where have he been? Why have you been sitting on the bench? I just don't understand.
sometimes I feel like Eric Ten Hag was trying to prove a point for no reason. I don't know who he was proving a point to, but by leaving Ugarte on the bench when we needed that, it was a kind of a double pivot. But obviously, Casemiro moved into the number 10 roles occasionally and the false 9 with Bruno. You know, I don't understand. I think some parts of Eric Ten Hag's game is too stubborn. It's too complicated. Football's not a complicated game. He overcomplicated. That game against Fenerbahce, none of us knew what the lineup was, what he's going for there with Mazraoui as the number 10. And it must have really annoyed Ineos in regards to that, because they purchased Xerxes, you know, they've got Ugarte, and none of them are playing. They spent all summer in Ugarte, didn't they?
Poor Xerxes has been suffering, like, you know, he hasn't really, I mean, in Hafton Pafton, he ran his socks off, but he wasn't really paying off for him, right? Missed passes in the first half. He tried to get into the game, but it hasn't been easy for him integrating into the team. And arguably to say also the smiles at Old Trafford afterwards, the smiles of the substitution when Amad Diallo came in. Did you see he smiling and going, "Oh, let me in"? Like, seriously, the players look like liberated. I don't know what the hell went on, but the crowd was electric. I spoke to fans outside afterwards, and they were just like, wow, what an atmosphere. Like, for me, it was 5 a.m. in the morning. I didn't do a reaction show. It's too late, like, you know, where I am. So, bro.
I didn't do a reaction show either. I didn't do it.
But, bro, I'm telling you, I did my due diligence. I was browsing around. I didn't fall asleep until 7 a.m. because I was watching every neighboring channel, what they were saying as well. And it seems like a theme, common denominators, the smiles are back on fans.
And that's the main thing, because it's the toxicity that has been around the fan base for so long. You know, it's good to see some smiles back. It's good to see some positivity going around Old Trafford. You know, Ruben Amorim, yeah, he's expected to be Manchester United manager. Literally this week, it's probably confirmed. It's been announced on the stock exchange, etc. What do you make of Ruben Amorim? And you know what? I've had this excitement before. I want to refrain myself from being too excited, because I had this excitement with Eric Ten Hag. You know, it's a similar sort of manager, similar, like, you know, team that he managed, similar results as well. And what do you make of Ruben Amorim? And what's his expectations for this season, Mick?
My expectation, let me just bring something to the screen if you don't mind, right? So, listen, I've been speaking to some Porto fans, Lisbon fans, Sporting Lisbon fans, Benfica fans, right? And they say one thing, you know, they're crying. 100% they're crying. Look at this attitude of this guy. Look, he's 39 years of age, but he oozes aura. He oozes confidence. He's a shitster on the conductor on the touchline. He gets into your face. And look at this one. He does a mic drop. Hang on here a second. He does a mic drop here. Yeah. There he is. Mic drop. He's a rock star mentality, right? So before I go into that, we are getting the best up-and-coming manager that is sorted out by Man City, that was snubbed Liverpool, and that has abundance of energy. He's 39 years of age, but don't let that fool you. He turned Sporting Lisbon, that hasn't won a title for 19 years. Does that resonate with Man United? To a winning team. He brought up 24 academy players integrated into the youth in 4 years. He became unstoppable. He hasn't lost one single game this season, 10 out of 10, right? Last season, he won the Portuguese league, and Benfica fans were shitting themselves because they didn't have an answer. They did not have an answer. Now they're swooping in. Man United are swooping in, and what is what you said. We're looking to pay 14 million euros to include him and 2 of his background staff, right? Arguably reported by Santi JFM yesterday, that is a total agreement. And then you saw that sneaky fan cam when the court Brailsworth, and he says, yes, it's a done deal. It's done. It's done. You saw that on Twitter, right?
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. I mean, I was surprised he said that, to be honest. Obviously, it must be the final stages now. The only problem, obviously, is what time we're going to get him, when we're going to get him.
No, it's done. They paid the release clause. It's something called, like, you know, it's like an employment contract, right? Part of that employment contract, of course, Sporting paid Braha 10 million. So that's part of the release clause. But if you pay that release clause, you also waiver the 30 days notice period, what you have in a release clause, right? In an employment contract. But of course, they need to find their replacement as well. So I don't think we will see him on Sunday. But also, we see that, part of his backroom staff will be his assistant, Carlos Fernandez and Adelio Cantido, to move to Man United. And also the sports scientist as well. The guy that's renowned for looking at the player's individual and minimizing injuries, right? Personal training, personal diet, and always monitoring the players. Like, don't overplay him, right? But he is a guy that is a total winner. A lot of people are saying, well, hold your horses. It's only like Portuguese league. But I keep saying that, hang on a second. The best players and managers come from Portugal, Spain, and Germany that do really, really well in the Premier League, especially when you have that winning mentality. If you see, he's a similar type of character like Ruud van Nistelrooy, conductor on the touchline. It's like having your 13th player on the pitch, but you need that conductor, like, Vienna Symphony Orchestra, that will give you, Sal, give me more drums, bum, 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 bum.
Oh, yeah, look, listen, right, I've got an explosion here. You need more explosions, mate. You're killing it right now, Mick. You know what I mean?
Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room.
Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my... Yeah, mate, you know what?
My opinion there, Sal, my opinion there is that we've been lacking that character that is a good communicator. I mean, we didn't have it. Ollie was a good character, but he was sitting there with his iPad with Carrick and everyone. Then we had the introvert, the mad professor, that had everything idea in the head, but you never saw him being vocal on the touchline. One thing that you see, with Arteta, what you've seen with, give me another manager, Pep Guardiola, Klopp, Jurgen Klopp, they were very instrumental. They were like 13 player on the pitch, right? Demanding, and also putting an arm around the shoulder, hugging the players, being the man manager. And the difference is, we're not looking for a manager, we're looking for a head coach. So the difference is that head coaches, they set up, they're part of the training, they make sure that everyone is individual coached. While the manager, it's kind of the dinosaur way, it's just preparing the team for the games, while you have assistants training and everything. So you the disconnect between the manager and the player is huge, because you're not really part of it. Now, that's why I say this is so important, that you actually have a head coach, right? And give him all the tools, and give him, don't prevent him. Like, we're recruiting him because he's going to play the 3-4-3 formation, right? And therefore, don't tell him you have to play Bruno, you have to play Rashford, because that's star players, 300k a week, or don't shoehorn in two left backs. Just play a balanced team and let the guy cook, right? I believe, Sal, that the same objective and KPIs will be attached to him, is to get into top 4. Nothing has changed, but he can do it because he's doing it fast. He's been proving in the Premier League, in the Portuguese league, and that's what they recruited him in for. Am I excited?
I mean, one thing is, though, you said the 3-4-3. Was it 3-4-3 formation?
Yeah,
one player has to be sacrificed, don't they, in that attacking position, to complement that 3-4-3 formation. I mean, it's not going to be Bruno. We all know it's not going to be Bruno. So who could it be? Could it be Garnacho being dropped out of the team? Could it be a Rashford being dropped out of the team?
I seriously think that Rashford is in danger here. I think, because he likes to play with wingers. He likes to play with pace, technical wingers, and I think he likes to play youth. So I think he's going to bank on Garnacho 100%. He would like to work with Garnacho and Amad Diallo. And I think you will see Rashford being more of a rotational player on the bench. It probably wouldn't give a shit if Rashford is getting paid 350. Like, it's my way or the highway. So something's got to be sacrificed. He also likes to play with wingbacks. So I think the connection with him and Diego Dalot would be magnifico, Portuguese connection. We saw yesterday that, Diego Dalot under Ten Hag was not really allowed to bomb forward. Yesterday, we saw a different Diego Dalot bombing forward and providing that 1-0 goal. I think it was the pass into Garnacho, right? What a beautiful pass. We haven't seen that for a long time. Who can play left wing back? You have Hariamas can do that role, right? I think that Mazraoui proved himself yesterday when he came in, can do that role as well. But if you didn't notice, he actually played 3 in the back yesterday when we were going forward, when we were attacking.
Yeah, I noticed. The one thing I'm excited about, obviously, Ruud van Nistelrooy is probably. I mean, it is a bounce. I mean, obviously, we can't take too much into this game. Obviously, with this game, obviously, Leicester B team and etc. But we saw differences in the style of play. We saw them just being like playing like they're enjoying their game again. As you said, Dalot bombing forward, Mazraoui playing well. Bruno playing well. Rashford's still a little bit disappointing, though. Again, he had a 4 or 5 out of 10. And this
I
is
just
not
want
the first
to,
time.
I just want to kill the favorites FC, and I
Yeah.
think that he's the kind of guy that he will not play the favorites. He said, if you're not performing, you're not playing, you're on the bench, right? So I would like him to have the free range to do whatever he wants, right? 100%. So it's a big question, but it's too early to say so. Like, we will see. Big up Warren as well.
One thing I like about Amorim is that during his earlier tenure at Sporting Lisbon, he played 3 big centre backs when he first initially started at Sporting Lisbon. Then he ditched that and played 3 very small, technically gifted centre backs. This tells me a lot about his character, that he's willing to evolve. One thing about Erik ten Hag, he didn't really evolve. He didn't change, even though it's screaming out to change. For example, play the double pivot, play Eriksen and and this is what's going to be refreshing. And hopefully, Favourites FC is over. Hopefully, he goes into that dressing room and says, "Look, enough is enough. I'm the boss here. Rashford, your place is
100%, Sal. Salvatore, listen, if you go back and do your research, he was struck by injuries, but he still managed to get a 64% win ratio. That's the thing, but just adapted, right? So instead of going 3-4-3, he went back to the 4-3-2-1 formation, and he utilized the best abilities to those players and still won the league, right? So there's no excuses for him. Like, he will adapt. But there's differences with Ten Hag. He didn't, right? He kept sticking to the same formation, same tactics and system, either that derailed the season and blamed it on injuries. And he tried to do the same thing this year, which bothers me because instantly you will see an identity when you get Ruben Amorim in. Like, you will see exactly what he wants to do because the players are well drilled. They know the runs, they know the formation, they know what to do. The thing is with Ten Hag was confusing. Like, we never knew what the style of play was. That's why we had this fan debate, style of play. And I think that the players look too confused because I think Ten Hag got burned by the injuries last season. So he was instantly thinking, I'm going to solidify that back line so we're not conceding so many goals and shots. I'm going to fix that midfield. Fine, we did that. But in the process, he lost the attack, because his game was pretty much to set up to win the ball, press the ball, and just everyone should defend. So it was too pragmatic in a way in that 4-3-2-1 system, right? 4-3-1 can work really well, can be attacking football, but there was lacking the creativity because the midfielders were too defensive-minded setup.
Absolutely. Eminem said, we need a coach that players will run into a wall. I never saw players run directly. Erik ten Hag when celebrating, running directly to Erik ten Hag when celebrating. I don't think Erik ten Hag had the connection with the players.
He didn't. And that was what I said earlier. Like, that is the difference between the head coach and a manager. Like, head coaches are pretty much tracksuit coaches. Ten Hag was a tracksuit manager. Remember, first season, I was in Bangkok at the stadium and I saw the preseason training. He was running with them. He was given the punishment. He was given the sit-ups and push-ups, right? That first season was the best season under Ten Hag, but something happened in the second season when he changed, when he wanted to be more of the boss. So he was not involved in the trainings, right? He still wanted to evolve and put his style of play. And he also said, like, I'm not here to play the Ajax way. And that's like, excuse me, but that's what we recruited you for. You played the best way at Ajax, but he never played that style of play at Man United. He tried something different, right? That he had a vision in his idea, and he stuck to it for 2 years almost, and it didn't work out. But he was still adamant. He was steering the Titanic towards the iceberg, and it crashed eventually. You know what I mean?
Now, exactly. I mean, I've asked this question to a couple of people. I wrote a tweet on Twitter about it. I said, if you was to give Ruben Amorim one piece of advice coming into Manchester United, because we've seen it before. We see managers come in and then they sort of evolve into this me against the team sort of mentality. And it happens with Jose Mourinho. Kind of happened with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got thrown under a bus. You know, it was like lambs to the slaughter, you know. So in regards to Ruben Amorim, what would be your advice? Just a couple of pieces of advice to give him when he walks into that changing room.
Just don't listen to anyone. Just do your thing. Do what you did at, Sporting. You know, that's the reason why they recruited him for. Like, you know, they want to see a style of play and they want to see good football, right? They want to see goals. Now he's clearly have that, right? Of course, he needs to adapt a little bit towards the playing squad that he has. But on paper, if you look at that playing squad, this is a top 4 challenging squad. You know, you have abundance of talent here. So he has just to figure out, and I think he will do it quickly, you know, the best ability, the traits of each player, right? And formalize a game plan accordingly. So just don't listen to fans. Don't listen to the board, what they have to say. I think it's ridiculous that the board say, oh, we will play this style of play. Bullshit. You know, you recruited in the manager because of his playing style identity. And just let the man cook, right? If there's money in the January window, just go out there, buy a left back if needed, if there's money. Go get Alvaro Fernandez, Caracas. He knows him from Benfica. Like, of course, he's been playing against him. But then in the summer, of course, you go all in, right? Just let the man cook, like, you know, pedal to the metal. Like, you know, he will most likely turn things around. We will start on the winning ways. And we are just basically, 9 points away or drift from, or is it 12 from top 4? 9? 9.
About 9 points now. But it's
3
only
games.
9 games left.
Early in the season. Early in the season.
We've lost eight point leads with a month to go in the season before.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you know, this is football. Like, we're early in the season, 9 games in, right? So it's Newton's law. It's about to happen. It's gravity. Like, what goes up must come down. So I bet you all the top 4 teams will lose minimum 3 games moving forward.
Absolutely. I mean, we wanted this Ten Hag thing to work out. You know, I really wanted it to work out for him. I felt bad for him. But unfortunately, football is a business and it's a results business. And when you start making comments in the media about Tottenham match doesn't matter, really. We were down to 10 men.
Oh, that's when he lost me, man. Seriously. When he said that, did you throw away the game just because, hey, Bruno got red carded and then what the hell? And when he came out to say after Fenerbahce that we were clinical, and it's like, what game are you? Yeah, he said that. We're clinical.
No, I mean, like, come on, like, clinical scoring goals. You know, clinical was yesterday.
For me, Sally was a dead man walking. He was a guy that set up the team just to survive game by game. You know, he all of a sudden in the first and second year, he didn't have any accountability, right? Because he didn't have a proper footballing people. Now this season, he had people that he reported into, the sporting director, Dan Ashworth, the technical director, Will Cox. Omar Barada is in as well, right? So instantly under pressure, that's where he failed, right? They gave him the advice. He didn't listen. There was a video footage where Ruud Van Nistelrooy were giving him advice, and he was just, no. They were arguing, and Rennie Hanke was also getting, and they caused a lot of spec. What did they talk about? I believe that Ruud wanted the team to win. I believe that Ruud was giving him the advice, but I think he's so stubborn. He has his game mentality plan the way he wants it to be. But the problem is that he had problems, communication problems, and connection problems with the players. It's clear and obvious. Because Benny McCarthy even came out and backed him and said, in training, the players were magnificent, but in game time, it was just bullshit, right? So it was the in-game management. I think that it was inevitable. I don't want to talk about the, all the best. Ten Hag gave us 2 trophies at least. Fantastic. I would say congratulations, good luck. But, if the board have identified the next up-and-coming manager, what they want, they should have done that in the summer. But I don't believe that Bruno Amorim was available in the summer. He wasn't able to move. And I think they've been having the conversation for 5 weeks, at least what I've been hearing. And he said yes, and that's why they pulled the trigger.
What do you make of Ruud Van Nistelrooy's future? I mean, it's very important that a manager brings in his own team, because obviously when Rangnick came into Manchester United, he still had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coaches and backroom staff, of course. So how important is it for Amorim to have his own team there? You know, because he's been with that team since the Braga days, obviously Sporting Lisbon days, and now.
That's a very good question. Because apparently, he's bringing in 2 assistants, but there's no money to bring in the rest. I think that he would like to. I think he will keep Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rene Hanke part of the setup as well. They're just new, right? For him, it's very important to have people that understand the culture of Man United, and I think that Ruud van Nistelrooy is safe. I think so, 100%. But then in the summer, potentially they were looking to bring in the rest, right? I mean, bear in mind, we just appointed new goal coaching, set pieces coaching. You're not going to sack them. It's going to cost too much money. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's very important, very, very important. I mean, Jose Mourinho had his team with him for years. He had the same team with him, and you take who you trust. At the end of the day, Amorim comes as a package, and the manager should come as a package with his team entourage with him. I feel like if he goes to Man United and it's just him, it is lambs to the slaughter, isn't it? Because you're going to have all the elder Ten Hag staff and stuff like that. So it's very important as a young manager that he is given his team and he's given the best chance to succeed.
Of course,
no matter how much I know it cost over 20. It's going to cost over 25 million altogether with the sacking and everything.
Let's be real. Jose Mourinho's second man in command for trustee in command. What was his name now? I keep forgetting. When he left,
Mendes. It wasn't man. It was
no.
His second command.
I forgot his name now. Rui Faria.
Rui. Oh yeah, Rui Faria. Is a Portuguese.
Rui Faria. No, Rui Faria.
Rui Faria. That's it. That's it.
When he left Jose, that's where the downfall of Jose was. So it's telling me that his second in command was the mastermind, right, behind it. And every single manager have the trustees. Like, of course, he bring in Carlos Fernandez and Adelio Candido. That is his 2 trustees, right? And also the sports scientist, which is very important, right? But the rest, I don't think that, Ineos can afford to sack the new hires, what they did, right? So there will be a mix, but eventually we'll see in the summer, if they can bring in more. But you're right, like when Pep Guardiola arrived to City, he bought 25 of his own, but that was kind of laid out in the plate for him. And by the way, he blamed on injuries yesterday for losing against Spurs.
He brought in, for some strange reason, the FA Cup final. He started talking about the FA Cup final, how they were drunk in the FA Cup final and stuff yesterday for no reason. It's like a sly dig at Man United. I mean, for me, it's a positive because I think he's fearing Ruben Amorim, if I'm being honest. I think a lot of these fans wanted Ten Hag.
Yeah. Nicky Cardigan, Frimpong might be the next Dutch signing. Nah, moving away from Dutch players now.
Yeah, the Dutch players. We've got too many. Going to bed. Just want to remind everyone that we've got a
Cooper
snakes in the team. Big up, Grayo. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Greets everyone. Hope it was great last night. But let's not make the same mistakes we did when we gave Ollie the permanent deal after a few results. Please like and subscribe, guys. Thank you, Grayo. Yeah, absolutely.
You, Grayo.
And we can't make the same mistakes. I doubt that Ineos.
I doubt. I got so much things to say, Sal, so you got to stop me. I'm drinking my coffee, my
That's
espresso.
all right.
Listen, this ain't going to happen now. Like, arguably to say we have the right sporting operation people in place now. Everyone is new. They set the foundation and standards, the slab for the manager to work on. They have all the tools. I don't think that they're going to sack another manager. They're going to stick to this guy, right? All the other managers were operating in the blind, having zero footballing people and accountability. So they were allowed to recruit whatever they want. And that's what we ended up with, a squad always building, but there's nothing to show for, right? When Louis van Gaal came in, he brought in his players according to his philosophy. Then we have Jose Mourinho, according to his philosophy, more pragmatic. We ended up with Fellaini's and all them jazz, right? We had a Paul Pogba, but we never built around Paul Pogba. We were always building, always patching the holes. It's like that game, when you try to kill you have different holes and that pops up there and you have to smash it, that game. And that was United. So we always find ourselves patching, there's something wrong with the defense. Oh, let's buy a centre back. Oh, now there's something wrong with the midfield. Oh, let's go and buy. There was no contingency, right? But I think now, with the prospect of the youth academy, I think we're going to see a lot of youth being integrated, and I think that that's the reason also why they sort of went for him. Right, he can make and shape players, and you just got to be patient. And I don't want to see this merry-go-round again, like, and I don't want to see fans backstabbing him, because the question is how long it's going to take for the media and the fans to build him up and then stab him in the back. 12 months potentially. So we got to protect him, and the Ineos also needs to be more astute when it comes to PR communication and kill it ASAP. If you see any journalists starting doing that, go out and get him like Sir Alex Ferguson used to do. What's your opinion?
Absolutely. I mean, it's already started. I've seen Jan Hager Fjortoft, of course, speaking about him,
Yeah.
in a negative way. He hasn't even got
Yeah.
his ass on the
But
seat
that's
yet.
ESPN, Ogden,
Oh,
ESPN.
by the way,
all of them.
ESPN, they're the only outlet I've seen, media outlet, who said that was a penalty for West Ham. The only ones who said
They
that's a penalty. They
hate-
said it's a blatant
That's
penalty.
That's ESPN. If you haven't noticed, it's an anti-Man United channel. We destroyed their childhoods, right? Fjortoft, all of them. You have Liverpool pundits sitting there, like ex-Liverpool players, Craig Burley and all that. I never hear them speak any good of Man United. Everything is magnified and wrong, right? Even they're saying, well, they're speaking negative already about Ruben Amorim. They're just basically salty because Liverpool wanted him. He snubbed Liverpool, right? Apparently, Man City recruiting the sporting director from Sporting Lisbon, and everyone was saying he's set in stone that Ruben Amorim is going to be successor of Pep Guardiola. We acted swiftly, actually. We got the best up-and-coming, wanted young manager out there. He's a modern manager, and we should be proud of ourselves, right? So I believe that there is not big gap in terms of age, and in him being 39 and the squad. I think he can sort of connect with the Gen Z and millenniums and all that stuff. He played his, I think he finished his playing career 4 years ago. No, 6 years ago, was it? Yeah, 6 years ago. So he's still pretty much in tune, right? He's part of the team.
He actually played with Lindelof, didn't he? Yeah, not long ago as well for Benfica.
He did.
That's a worry for me, to be honest. He might start picking Lindelof in the team.
No, Lindelof is going to be a free agent in January. He can speak to everyone,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
if we go back to the match yesterday, we were good going forward, but suspect in the back line. And I said, I identified the weakest link was Victor Lindelof. De Ligt was superb, but Lindelof shaky as usual, I would say.
Absolutely. If we go to the team yesterday, I mean, those are the ratings of the players. What do you make of Bayandere? Bayandere was he had a decent game. To be honest with you, is that first goal that they scored yesterday?
Well, there was the first goal was nothing he could have done. It was also defensive that we didn't pick up. We slept a little bit, but it was post to post and in. Right, he went for the ball, long reach. But I didn't notice it was Bayandere playing, because he did excellent playing out from the back. His ball carrying skills was good. So he played like an extra center back. Second goal, there was nothing he could do either, because the ball accidentally hit Diego Dalot again, and boom, you know what I mean? There's nothing he could do. I think he did well. I mean, he hasn't been, what was it? His second game in United shirt? Probably a little bit nervous, but he did well. Still young.
Yeah, and he made a fantastic save as well in the second half, which hit the crossbar. It was a brilliant save, to be honest with you. Do you have any concerns about Dalot defensively? He is making a few mistakes, and a lot of our goals have come from his side. Whether it's the left, whether it's the right, it's always seemed to come down from his side. I mean, mate, do you think we need another right back in there?
No, I mean here's the thing, right? You need to buy a right back. Not really need to buy a right back, but if it's Amorim, he would like to play with wing backs instead than full backs. You know what I mean? Is Dalot good going forward? Yes, we've seen it.
Yeah.
Will it be a partnership of De Ligt in the middle, and then Lenny Euro to the right and Martinez to the left? That could work, right? But he hasn't been the best defensively. You know what I mean? I'm not really sold on Dalot. Never been. He's improved, but he's not that right back that will elevate you. Like he's not that right back that we used to have, right? In Gary Neville, in terms of what's his name, that
Yeah, Gary Neville, that kind of player. He's not even a Wes Brown, to be honest with you.
Wes Brown, or or
Antonio Valencia.
Antonio Valencia. Antonio Valencia was brilliant going forward. You know what I mean?
But defensively was a little bit suspect as well,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
as well. But he was converted into a fullback from Sir Alex Ferguson by Sir Alex Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
He was a winger at Wigan, I believe. He was a
Yeah.
winger at Wigan, so he was converted.
But what's to
Xerxes, what
say that
about?
Bruno Amorim and the Portuguese connection, will get the best out of him,
And he's still young. He's still young.
He's still
He's
young,
still a young player.
shapeable, yeah. So I
So
put like, okay, 6.0 is good.
yeah, these are the ratings online, the official ratings of the team. I mean, Xerxes, I mean, where do we go with him? Because he hasn't seemed to set the world alight, has he? We had a comment yesterday from Fabio Capello. Go and watch Xerxes play in the Premier League and tell me if he seems like the same player we admired at Bologna. In Italy, he did what he wanted. In England, he doesn't even have time to think about the play before the ball is stolen from him.
Because it's Premier League, it's fast and furious.
Yeah.
You don't have time to think. You know what I mean? If you bring back that chart again, look, don't judge the player. Like, give him a little bit of a year. He's still adapting to the league. He scored on his debut. He's been carrying the world on his shoulder when Højlund was injured, and he's been probably not. He needs a little bit of confident booster, right? I think he will become good, but not as a number 9. He's more of a 10 or 9.5. Perhaps in this new system, you will thrive. You will might see like Xerxes and Højlund playing together up front. So, I mean, first half he was a little bit shaky, misplaced passes and stuff like that. He didn't have time, but he needs to learn to adapt a bit eventually. Like, he's still adapting and learning. It's too harsh to give him critique at the moment, but yeah, you can look at the first half wasn't really good. Second half, yeah, he was more involved in the play, but I think we still need to get a prolific goal scorer in, right? I think we need to not overplay Højlund. Xerxes is a little bit older. It's about development, but if there one thing that Amorim can do is develop those 2 players.
Absolutely. He's good at working with the young players as well. So he's only 23, we forget.
He took in and bang average Victor Gyökeres and made him a world-class player.
And Gyökeres was playing for Coventry City not long ago, and he moved him into a world-class player. Absolutely. That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to see the conveyor belt of young players that are coming through at Man United at the moment for him to be working with those guys.
Going on Brian Foskett's comment here, Xerxes looks lost. Rushman is saying Xerxes will be fine, needs more time, which is okay. Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I said, Rushman, as well. Almac is saying the Erik ten Hag defenders are laughable. They pretend that Mason Mount was a Glazers sign. Listen, Mason Mount, we forgot we have a Mason Mount. How will he fit in this system?
I don't think he can. I honestly think that is a big mistake. That was one of the mistakes of Ten Hag. If it was indeed his signing, there were rumors that it wasn't his signing. It was a club signing, to sell shirts. And the number 7 shirt, we don't even have a number 7 on the pitch. I mean, how many years has it been?
It's laughable. I personally had enough, right? I haven't seen enough of him, but what I've seen is that how injury prone can you be? Like, if the wind blows, you break down. Like, we saw that De Ligt got that knee in the head. When I got patched up, got out and play, he got the similar knock to the head. We haven't seen him since. I mean, what's going on with him? Is he just don't want to play? He's just taking the piss out of it?
I think this is a thing that Jose Mourinho touched on years ago about some players, they get a little injury and they're out for weeks. Then you've got players like De Ligt who can, basically have his head bandaged, blood everywhere and carrying on playing,
Weak mentality.
And it's that mentality, it is that mentality. De Ligt, I've been very impressed with him. I think unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Future captain, 100%.
Absolutely. And what would you do with Euro? So what would your defense be? If it was under Amorim, the 3 centre-backs, is it De Ligt, Licha and Euro?
Yes, De Ligt in the middle, Euro to the right, and Lisandro Martinez left-footed centre-back. That's your 3, 100%.
Yeah, there was rumours that Ignacio from Sporting Lisbon could be coming in, 23-year-old young player as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. We
I'm
were
looking
heavily
forward.
linked with him in the summer. He was almost there, like, but if there's two players we can bring in, is Victor Gyökeres as a striker, 100%, trigger that release clause, do a little bit of a amortization negotiation. And we're cleaning house from Sporting Lisbon, poor buggers. You know what I mean? We're taking them everywhere.
Fair play to Sporting Lisbon, though. I mean, they're being a class act to Manchester United. We have a very good relationship with them, obviously, Nani, Bruno, Ronaldo, of the past. So, I feel sorry for them. To be honest with you, if that was Man United, I'll be fuming, because he brought them from no league title in 20 odd years to winning a couple of league titles.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, they knocked out Arsenal at the Europa League just a year ago, something
Big
like that. Arteta's Arsenal.
Rushman is making a valid point. How Garnacho doesn't have the number 7 shirt is crazy and criminal. Garnacho should have the number 7 shirt.
He should. It should be earned.
Yeah.
It should be earned. The number 7 shirt should be earned. It shouldn't be automatic. I mean, it adds pressure onto him as well. It adds pressure onto his game. It's already pressure playing for Man United, but then you give him the number 7 shirt, which I think was a big mistake in my opinion. If we go to
but it wasn't an Ineos signing. It was before Ineos came in. There was just basically
they would have blocked
we did Chelsea a favor, man. We overpaid for him. We could have got him for free. The guy never played for Man United that season anyway. He played 7 games. We could have just waited and got him for free this season. Jesus Christ. Biggest mistake.
Absolutely.
And him and Anthony Dos Santos as well, like overpaid for this overhyped player that has got one trick only, and that is just to cut in, use his left foot, and try to curl it in the far corner. That's all he does. All he does. Seriously. And when he goes forward as a winger, he stops and go backwards instead of do like Ahmad, just take on your defender, make the defender try to sort of second guess where you're going to go. Are you going to go to the byline? Are you going to cut inside? Are you going to drop a shoulder? This is what Garnacho does and Ahmad does. Yesterday, I saw Rashford doing the same thing over and over again. Try to take on your defender. Of course, you need to have the confidence, but always crashing into them. Boom. Like a crash test dummy, right?
And this is the problem, though. I mean, I hope that Amarin doesn't walk into the club in awe of these players. Of oh my goodness, it's Marcus Rashford. I want him to, lay a marker down straight away. He should know about Rashford. He should already know his performances.
He shouldn't be influenced. He shouldn't be influenced to be told that you need to play if it's part of Rashford's contract. They cannot be dropped. He says, screw you guys. If I'm taking this job, give me the free range and tools. I drop players. I don't care about the contracts, right? That's your problem, not my problem. My problem is to assemble a winning team. And if you're not performing, you're on the bench, mate. That's the thing. I think that's been the problem with United before because it's been too much agents involved in player power. It's part of the contract. 350K a week. You got to play. There's no other excuse. You're the PR poster boy. And that's been the downfall of each manager, right?
Do you feel like some of these players, they perform well in training, and then when they get to match day, it's a bit like 100%. Liars on the pitch, and they 100%. don't give their all. I've been seeing this, and they play like world beaters. I think Benny McCarthy said it a couple of weeks ago. Yes. They play like world beaters in the training field, but when it gets to the pitch,
goes out the window.
Goes out the window.
Exactly. And there was another comment from the reason why he picked Anthony that got injured that game instead of Ahmad. He said, well, I picked him based on he does well in training. But I kept saying, well, you should pick players that do well in matches, right? Don't pick, training. Everyone can rock up to training and be world-class Pirlo and Ronaldo and just do tricks and flicks and all that. But it's what matters what you do on the pitch. It matters what if you're following the gaffer's instructions, right? Clearly, these players didn't listen, or there was disconnect, right? Manager was setting that up for success, but the plan went out the window from minute one, right? And in evidence, what Benny McCarthy was saying. I don't think you will see that on Amarin. I don't think so.
I hope so. I really do. Yeah, I really do hope so that he's given the authority to get rid of these players if he's allowed. If he can get rid of. I think my personal opinion is that we should get rid of the players that have been there for many years. The ones that have been there since the Louis van Gaal days, which is Luke Shaw, obviously Jose Mourinho days, Marcus Rashford. Marcus and Luke Shaw have been there since the Louis van Gaal days.
Yeah, but those two has been the this the ones that seen through managers out the door.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, voila, Luke Shaw is available. Right, he made himself available because new manager. Like, no, sit down there, son. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. I want to see like no favoritism. Just pick your best team, pick a balanced team. Because at the end of the day, it's all about winning your game and show the fans some smiles, some good football, right? Obviously, Ugarte will now be a regular, 100%, because he utilized, in his system, he relies on two dynamic midfielders that can run and cover a lot of ground. And Ugarte was one of them at Sporting Lisbon. That's why I said you might even see that combination of Casemiro, prime Casemiro is back, together with Ugarte, 100%, but also rotating in Kobe Mainoo. Don't run him to the ground, don't play him every game.
Eriksen Lindelof Casemiro doesn't fit Amarin's high press. I think Casemiro is highly underrated when it comes to pressing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very good attacking player. He's very underrated, and that's what I like about him. He's he's a transitional type of player. He can go into the attacking third, and then he can go back and defend. And I think that's the problem that we've had under Erik ten Hag. He played that single pivot. It was just Casemiro on his own. You're there, and then when they counter-attack the team.
He burned him against Liverpool. He burned him under the Liverpool. Did you listen to Ruud van Nistelrooy's post-match interview when he spoke about Casemiro, right? He says such a professional, he prepare well. He helps the players. He's such a good ambassador for the club. Come on, this guy was 4-5 Champions Leagues, right? And you got a point there because I think that Erik ten Hag burned him to the ground, like playing in the single pivot. And he took a lot of heat and stick when he played the single pivot. Against Liverpool.
And obviously you're leaving as I said, lambs to the slaughter again. That's what he did. That's what Erik ten Hag was doing, and he when you're under pressure in that midfield position and you've got players on you, you're going to make mistakes, no matter what type of player you are. And he gave away that football. He didn't have his best game, but no one had a good game.
But what do you do as a manager? Do you protect him? Do you take him off? Do you put an arm around the shoulder, talk to him? He didn't. He basically set him up for failure. Right? You, as a manager, you never set up your team for a failure. In work environment, as a modern manager, you make sure that your team is comfortable, that you're leading with an example, you put an arm around the shoulder, and you protect them at all costs. You, as a manager, take the heat from the upper board. I used to do that as a manager as well. Whatever you do, don't go on my stuff. I will take the heat, right? I will answer for it, and I will put my hand up. You'd rather fire me than fire my staff. You know what I mean?
And that's one of the characteristics that Sir Alex Ferguson did so well. He adjusted to different personalities, and it was natural as well. It was natural that he, the way he spoke to you, he was, he spoke more about your character than your actual footballing ability. I forgot what player it was, but he said when he met Sir Alex, I think it was Patrice Evra, Sir Alex Ferguson spoke more about his personal life than about football, and he wanted to get to know him. And that's what you need. And in regards to not performing on the pitch, I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson used to always have a solution. When we were in the Champions League in the 90s, we played the 4-4-2. He changed it to a 4-5-1-1 kind of formation just because we kept getting exposed. But the problem with Erik ten Hag, he didn't fix that. And we were screaming that, he needs to play the double pivot with Ugarte and Casemiro, at the end of the day. It's not the 90s anymore. This is not the Eredivisie, and that's one thing with it. And you know what? I don't blame him for everything. Falling out with Sancho, I don't think that was his fault. I really don't. He looked after Sancho. In regards to the Instagram posts, Dalot, Garnacho, Bruno have all spoke highly of Erik ten Hag. But you know what? It's very telling when certain players don't post anything. It's almost like an eerie silence, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Now, I mean, we haven't heard much about players expressing them or saying anything about Ten Hag. It was so rushed, and the message came across, and later on he was jetting off in his private jet, or now look, there's certain players that didn't gel. There's certain players that are smiling that will get a chance, like Bayandir. We saw on the touchline a smiling Amad Diallo. Didn't really make sense. 2 months in a row, he was voted as player of the month, and I think Ten Hag was just he had a selection problem. He didn't want to drop Garnacho, he didn't want to drop Rashford, so his solution was to play 2 left wingers and just put one on the right, one on the left, and just play an unbalanced team.
I think it's like he's trying to prove a point for no reason about Bruno, especially when he played Mazraoui as the number 10. I think it's like he was trying to prove a point to people that, if Bruno doesn't play, I'm not going to put, Ahmad in. I'm going to play Mazraoui there. It's the stubbornness that got to him in the end, I think, that generally let him down. It's his own downfall.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. Anyway, I just don't want to talk about Ten Hag anymore. That is a chapter closed. It didn't work out. I'm trying to find Bruno's heat map here. I'm just I saw it yesterday from yesterday's game, and I don't know. It was all over.
He's a monster when it comes to.
But that's what Ruud van Nistelrooy also explained. He identified that I gave Bruno the creativity in the free range. So for me, Bruno this season, he got a lot of stick, but I think that Ten Hag told him to be more disciplined and don't run around that much. But you saw when you gave him all the tools to the kingdom, like he's the heartbeat of that team, right? Him and Casemiro yesterday was prime, and that made a difference. Bruno yesterday was everywhere, on the left, on the right, in the middle. He kept running and running and running his socks off, right? And that's what you need to have. Bruno, you can't you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. But he's like a stallion, a Lipizan, right? You never stop a running stallion, right? Because the stallion will create you the future, the path, right? But you can kick the mule in the ass. What you gonna do, right? You're not gonna kick the mule in the ass. I'm trying to find the heat map. Bear with me. So,
Origami, all depends. As soon as Amarin is in, let him assess the squad, and by the summer he can provide Ineos with player profiles he will require. I firmly believe that this is the calm before the storm. Ineos are not happy with some of those players. I think there's going to be a lot of players out of that door pretty soon.
Yeah, but just go on Oman Barada, a couple of months ago, where it was, he said it, like, if you're not performing within 2 years, you're out of the door, right? So they have standards there as well. So this is just the beginning. I'm dubious and suspicious about Ineos, but at least, hey, this is the first restructure, first rebuild with new operational staff and backroom staff and everything. And they're just cooking as well. They're starting to get the feet on the ground as well. So, look, I think that one season will not make, one swallow will not make a whole summer. I mean, this summer window, of course, some of them want Erik ten Hag signings. And of course, we got rid of 17 players and recruiting in 7. But the problem is that we never utilized Ugarte. We haven't utilized Lenny Euro. He got injured. Who else? Mazraoui came straight into the team. He's been excellent so far, hit the ground running. But where's the rest, right? He promised to play youth. They've just been showcased like as a display on the bench, never utilized the youth. Ten Hag just basically played for his survivor game by game. There was no long-term vision. So I believe that it wasn't really married into the Ineos vision, because why would you play aging players like Eriksen, Casemiro, Bruno again? Why would you play dispositional players on wrong position? Clearly for me, it was just like a sign when he played Mazraoui in Galatasaray as number 10 was just like, hey, I'm begging to get sacked. That's clearly you could have played Eriksen as number 10. You could have played Collier in there as well, but he didn't. So there was a trust. I think it's a trust issue with Ten Hag that he didn't trust. He certainly trusted certain players, right?
I understand. And I mean, it goes back to the Barnsley game when he would prefer to play Collier as a left back rather than just bringing Harry Amass.
Weird.
Just bring in Harry Amass and play Collier in the midfield. It's Barnsley.
Weird.
I don't know what's wrong with him. It's crazy. But as we know, you know what? I respect him for what he did for Man United, and
100%.
I wish him the best. That's it. I wish him the best. He probably will be successful wherever he goes in regards to, I don't think he'll manage an elite club again. I don't think he'll manage the likes of a Manchester United, a Real Madrid, and it'd probably be the next tier down in regards. He might go back to Ajax, who knows? We have to wait and see. Anthony, what are we going to do with this guy? I mean, we got loads of players there that, just haven't been playing, been on the bench, whatever they've been doing.
That was another disaster. We could have got him for 50 million. That was another John Murtaugh disaster. I know this story because I know his agent, Junior Pedrosa. He was laughing, like, he said to me, Mick, who goes on a holiday in the middle of the transfer window? So he went in a holiday in the middle of the transfer window, came back panicking 1 week after, and they just basically pulled his pants down, right? Ajax didn't want to sell. Plus, there was a 15 million sell-on clause from the mother club as well that they got money for. He did all right first season. He came in and scored on his debut, fine. But ever since then, I don't know. I mean, this is I don't know, so one-dimensional, right? And it's not worth 90 million pounds. It's just been waste of money.
We wasted a lot of money over the years. I mean, billion we spent over the last 10 years, and we haven't got one 100 million pound valued player, which is
I think it's
crazy.
a flop. I mean, it's a flop. This is the third season. It's not, you got a 90 million asset player is not even performing, and when you do come in, you're not giving you all, right?
No, you're not making a difference.
You're not making
and what would you what if Amorim decided that he didn't like Onana as a goalkeeper? Because managers, they like different types of goalkeepers. Some like an imposing goalkeeper, some like a ball playing goalkeeper. He might go in there and say, Onana's not for me. I want a different goalkeeper.
Onana has been actually goalkeeper of the
Season,
most improved. Sorry. Yeah, he's improved.
He's improved a lot.
I mean, people say he's not a shot stopper. My God. The double save he did, the reactions he has now. He's clearly worked on diving much faster, being more reactionary. But it also helps when you do have a solid partnership in front of you, like, a firewall. I see a comment from Rush Maynard that Bayern might get Erik ten Hag as they realize company is not good enough. Have you seen on the meltdown on the treatment of company with certain places? He goes in bullishing and calls them Muppets and shit like that on pitch. He's lost the plot, mate. I think company will be sacked. And potentially Erik ten Hag gets the Bayern job.
He wasn't ready for that job. It was a crazy appointment, to be honest with you. He wasn't ready for that job. I mean,
they went through 5 different managers, like the interview, and everyone rejected them. So they had no choice. They went for company.
I mean, the way Bayern are, their shadow of their former selves. I mean, when they sold De Ligt, there was a petition in the crowd, wasn't there? The fans had the petition not to sell him. Ten Hag threw Casemiro under the bus. I don't recall him praising him like Ruud did last night.
He did.
Ruud is one of us. He's one of us. You can see the way he felt with the Stretford end at the end, and he's pumping his fists and stuff. You never saw that from Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag would give a little clap like that. That's about it. You didn't see the passion. And maybe
the post-match interview from Ruud was perfect. He gave praise to Casemiro, say how important he is for the squad. His experience helping others. Bruno the same, carrying a lot of burden on his shoulders. It's brilliant, right?
Yeah, I was happy with the way we played Stu as well. Very happy. Good to score 5 goals. We all saw this. Then suddenly he back to Cass like first season. I ain't buying this ball. Well, at the end of the day, there was a kind of a rumor that they did fall out. I mean, we saw a few weeks ago, Casemiro speaking to was it Ruud van Nistelrooy?
Well, he didn't get picked on the FA Cup final.
Yeah,
so Ten Hag fell out with a lot of players.
You can't argue with it because he won the game, innit? And that's what it is. But I feel like Ten Hag's he scapegoats certain players. And other players he wouldn't scapegoat. This is his.
No, exactly. He didn't scapegoat. He didn't throw Anthony under the bus. No, he didn't. He threw certain players under the bus. 100% they did. Right. FA Cup was a brilliant example. Listen, Casemiro is a world-class player. If you get his confidence up, now he's fully of confidence, right? Scoring 2 goals. He looked like prime Barcelona and prime Real Madrid yesterday. By God. If you can get a tune out of Casemiro, he's got 1 year left on his contract, 2 more years. Man, what is to say that he can't do well? People were saying, well, he's dead now. Because his confidence was low. Ten Hag was not really praising him. He threw him under the bus.
And then you expect him to play for you after that.
Yeah.
And you saw Ahmed's reaction when he came on against Fenerbahce. He was not happy.
So happy. But did you see Ahmed's reaction yesterday when he was standing on the touchline ready to come in? The big smile. Happy.
Yeah, I mean, Ruud van Nistelrooy, I mean, I wouldn't have minded him as a manager, if we didn't have Amorim, it would have been just keep Ruud van
Yes.
Nistelrooy until the end of the season, and that's it,
Yeah.
But there's a problem with Jim Ratcliffe and the FFP, obviously, because they're having to spend so much money on replacing this manager, and he's basically said, you know what, we'll test the waters, we see how it goes, and I'll deal with it when it comes to it. Is he basically,
Well,
just ignoring FFP now and saying, all right, look, we've
no,
got
they will
Man
find
City, we've got
money.
one more
They will
fight.
find money. They always find money. I think that we have more money. We did a lot of cost cutting, and they will find money for this. Otherwise, they would never pull the trigger. That's the thing, right? Listen, I think that they already identified the manager 5 weeks ago. There's been communications going ever since FA Cup. They've spoken to Bruno, to multiple candidates. Now, it took 5 weeks for him to say yes, and this is why I think they pulled the trigger on Monday or Sunday. With Ten Hag, everything's been going in ultra speed, and this is what I like about the new establishment. It goes faster right now.
I mean, I've never seen anything like that. 1 minute we got Ten Hag sacked, 24 hours later we're confirming Amorim as the manager. Wow.
That's what we were. And we were acting like a big club right now. In the summer, of course, I'm a little bit double-edged sword there. Like, we spent almost 2 months hardcore negotiation with PSG to get the player in, right? Ugarte. But that cost us a season. And then you have Ten Hag that refuses to play him and blamed it that he's still integrating. I've never seen any Premier League club waiting 8 games to integrate your star player that you bought in, what you need, right? Exactly. I've never seen anyone with that excuse. So it looked like we were still in pre-season, right? 8 games in. Players look lost.
And there's the quotes in the pressers as well, like, we're not ready. Why would you say that in a presser, that we're not ready? Because at the end of the day, even if you're not ready, you don't say it. You don't expose yourself.
Yeah, you're not ready. And we have a plan. We're not ready. And talk to me about the table in March, April, right? Dude, you just crashed a Ferrari, right? Dude, the worst start in the season. Dude, look at the table. Wake up, smell the coffee. Did you notice what Rushmano was saying in the better passing yesterday? It was more crisp. Second half, we did something on purpose. We let them, we knew that they were coming at us. We sort of observed the pressure, but then we took over by hitting with the beautiful Bruno goal, right? Since then, I saw crisp passes, triangle, tiki-taka. We found partnerships all over the pitch, which was something that I haven't seen before. The way we were passing the ball around, like, wow, right?
It was refreshing to see, football, Sir Alex Ferguson always used to say, enjoy it. He used to say, enjoy it every time, because football is about enjoyment as well. You have to enjoy it yourself on the pitch. It seemed like we weren't enjoying our football, but all of a sudden, things have changed. But one thing we have to do as a football club, I feel, is we have to take away the sentiments, because we're very sentimental when it comes to our players, our ex-players, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Yeah. I would love him to stay at the football club. I don't know.
I think he will. I think he will. I spoke to somebody yesterday, and it looks like he's going to stay 100%. And he wants to stay. He made a statement about it. Listen, Rushmano is also saying, what was he in the McDonald? Bruno was the Bruno we saw under Ole, 100%. He was possessed. And that's where I'm trying to find his heat map, but I can't find it. Where do I find his heat map? I went on who scores. Maybe it's Opta stats, I think. Bruno was the Bruno we saw under Ole, and we haven't seen performance like that since Ole left, 100%. Listen, he was the old Bruno yesterday. He was happy. He was on fire. And when he actually scored a goal, he hasn't scored since April. You can see the relief.
You could, and what I liked is the embrace of the players as well. They embraced him, like pleased for him. It was like a lot of love within that squad, and that's what I like to see. Because a lot of people have been saying how our squad is disjointed. Players don't get on with each other. Yeah. It probably is true in parts. Like, I do believe there are cults within our football team, within our squad.
So can I mention something? And we'll just back the tape regarding the FFP or the PSR, right? I think the media is making the meal out of it because, listen, if you look at the net spend, which doesn't really exist,
no.
We got rid of 200 staff. We have cut down costs. There is money. And basically, we did something very smart this summer. We did something called amortization, right? When we sold a lot of players as well, 17 players. But we did installments for all of these new signings, meaning we're paying 10 million this for one player. I mean, I think in general, I think we didn't pay more than a budget this summer was about 50 to 80 in total, right? And plus we sold a lot of players. So we did deliberately do that because we don't want to be charged by FFP and PSR. So I think there is a wiggling room. They looked at it, and that's why they kind of afford to pull the trigger on the new manager and sacking, right? Without even compromising the January window. There is always a wiggling room. So I think that media is trying to make a meal that while we are in financial trouble right now.
It's going to be interesting to see the media's reaction to Amorim, because already the knives are out without him even playing a football match.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
ESPN,
he's a much
Liverpool.
more charismatic guy in regards to his personality. He's much more warming kind of character. So they might warm to him. Salam Sal, walaikum salam. Yesterday felt good. Long may it continue. Slowly, catchy monkey. It did feel good. It did feel good, lies around me. It felt nice. It felt nice to win a game by 5, score 5 goals, absolutely. Well, he's still better bred of a Brazilian than Anthony.
Yeah.
Anthony's on fraud watch, isn't he? He's on a Brazilian fraud watch.
Somebody check his passport, please.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
I want to ask a question to the VR room and the people in the chat. Like, everyone has standards. Everyone has been deprived this season. There's been some depression going on, right? And now people are on a second manager bounce. It feels like we're turning the corner. Like, I think that with this squad, we've seen the talent. All we need is a coach to come in and get a tune out of these players. And I think if we can start winning games, I certainly believe we will catch top 4, right? I'm not going to get too giddy, but mathematically, it's not impossible. Like, we're still early in. We proved yesterday that Ruud van Nistelrooy, just coaching one game, can get a tune out of this player just by understanding and being a team player, right? Understanding, where do I play Bruno? Where do I play Casemiro? How do I get the best out of it? Man, we couldn't finish our dinner yesterday. We were clinical. 5 goals, could have been 7, easy, right?
Exactly. And one thing I would say, right, a lot of people are being very pessimistic in regards to Manchester United, right? Too pessimistic, right? Look, we don't know how this is going to unfold, But one thing we have to do, we have to give the new manager a chance. We can't just write off everything completely. Nothing has happened yet. Players are not out. Players are not in. He hasn't even sat his bum down on the seat to have a press conference yet. So one thing we have to do, we have to be cautiously optimistic, but not too pessimistic, if you know what I mean, because we're experienced now as fans, that not to get our hopes up. But we are Manchester United. We should really be a little bit giddy, because we are Manchester United. We should be challenging for the league. I firmly believe this squad is better than it's been shown.
100%. I mean, and entirely so, yes, because this season was not the start that most of us expected, because hey, everyone had these expectations. We got Ineos now, we got recruited all these players, Ten Hag's been back, he's got all this tool, we got Van Nistelrooy, we got everything, but it didn't work out. It didn't. So now what I praise the club doing, that they cut their head off the snake very early in the season to rectify it, right? Rather than wait to Christmas, right? Because there's still salvage to make. But you made a point there with the fan base on socials. The same fan base will lift him up, and then they can't wait, if he's not playing their favorite player, to stick him in the back. Have you seen Life of Brian, Monty Python?
The film and the book. There's a book as well.
There's a scene when they have a stoning scene where they're going to stone a woman for betraying, and back there was like, you're not allowed to have any women in the crowd. It was all men, but in that scene everyone is dressed with beard and it's all women. And John Cleese is saying that, and there's like, he started to read out the sentence or the accusation, and they're already casting the stone, right? And he says, who threw that stone? And he said, he, she. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
I haven't seen it for like 10 years.
Oh, that's brilliant. At the end of the day, they just totally overruled the judge and just took a big Bauta stone and just threw it over him. Like, that is the Man United, some fan base on Twitter. Guys, don't let this happen, please. Give the manager a chance and let him cook, right? Some people don't have the patience 100%, and I get that. I get that. Since Sir Alex left, we haven't been successful. Yeah, Ten Hag tried. We won 2 trophies. Oli bummed out on the 13 penalty of David De Gea in Europa League. That was the end of Oli. But at least it was a happy camp with Oli. Jose was too pragmatic, was too rock and roll star. At least he won the Europa League. But since then, we haven't won a Premier League. We haven't won a Champions League for 11 years, right?
Yeah. It's Champions League. 12, 2008, 12, longer than that, 16.
But we even look lost in Europa League this season. My God. Last season, Champions League, what the hell happened? Really? Finished at the bottom of that league.
I actually have a feeling this season about us in Europe. I think Amarim's going to come in and he's going to change everything. I've got a good feeling. Honestly, I think we're going to end the season. I mean, people are saying we're giddy, but, I get this feeling about Amarim. There's something about him, and I think we're going to go on this.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate, right? What if this guy is the guy, comes in and makes us win game by game? Look, I'm not going to be giddy, like the proof will be in the pudding, but what if he turns around and we become a machine? And all of a sudden, what a saga if we all of a sudden win the league. That would be a freaking good story, right? But I don't think they're going to happen, right? City's falling off the cliff. Arsenal's been dodgy, right? Liverpool has been lucky on the slot. He's been given a free range like that, but they're bound to drop off as well. Newcastle yesterday, big up. Chelsea falling out from the league as well. But we're getting Spurs. Oh, Spurs in the quarterfinals. That's the drive.
Spurs away in the quarterfinal. Yeah, that's going to be a difficult game. Obviously, we lost 3-0 at Old Trafford this season. Postecoglou. We haven't done well against him. We haven't done well against him so far. So,
Yeah, but last time we just gave up. I don't know what the hell we did at Old Trafford. We invited them. They looked like they played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's like we invited the robbers to Old Trafford. They took a PlayStation or TV or daughters or sons and everything. And on the way out, Ten Hag stopped them and said, hey, do you want some takeaway? Here's my grandmother baked some cookies, have some desserts, right, on your way out. That's not supposed to happen, right? I think that Postecoglou has been inconsistent as well. The team hasn't been that great, Spurs, right? They're in a shaky ground. I think with this new confidence, I think Chelsea should be aware, right? We are going to kill Chelsea on the weekend. I have a feeling, right? Chelsea went out yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, Chelsea went out yesterday, but Liverpool, Arsenal, and obviously Spurs are still in the tournament. I mean, those teams, Liverpool and Arsenal in particular, they're tough teams for us. Tough teams. We've got a new lease of life. As I said, a new day, a new dawn, a new life. That's what we have at the moment.
But that's the most dangerous thing in football. That's the most dangerous thing in football. That's the thing. I want to touch base on something that nobody's talking about. The problem of Jadon Sancho. Enzo Maresca having the same problem right now.
Yeah,
he's not picking him.
I said it on one stream. I'm going to give him till Christmas, and then we'll see.
The attitude is back.
Attitude is back, man. Attitude is back. Absolutely. Mick, it's been a great show, my bro. It's been a great show. And let's do it again. Absolutely great insight into Manchester United. The future's bright, guys. My advice to you guys would be, you know what? Just try and be a little bit more positive. It doesn't matter if you're a Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out. It's done. And at the end of the day, look, we supported our manager. We were loyal to our football club. And that's the way we wanted to keep it because we didn't feel that it was going to change. I mean, it's changed at the right time. He deserved to be sacked. But you know what? Just because someone supported the football team doesn't give you the right to say, you know what, in the mud, cry more and stuff. This is Manchester United. We're all in the same boat. When we lose, you lose. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Do you know what I mean? And I would say it'd be nice if we can get the real fans back on side and start supporting the football club again.
No, 100%. I'm Man United in. I'm Man United in. Always been. I've never been Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out. I'm Manchester United in. We dream the same dream. We want the same thing. Opinions are there to make a difference. If politicians in the world would agree on the same opinion, we wouldn't have wars, would it? We would have world peace. It's not the way the cookie crumble. What we guys can do as Man United fans, unite and believe that we want to get back into the winning ways, and that's what we want. So thank you. It's
Absolutely.
been brilliant to have me on, Salvatore.
Big up. Ciao.
Buona
Take it
vita.
easy, bro. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you soon, bro. Take it easy.
Don't forget.